Hello to my wolf pack. How you guys doing? Charlie Black 20 back again. Today I am doing a movie review slash reaction to the 2022 live action Disney remake of The Little Mermaid. I'm going to cover what happened in the movie to an extent. Then I will cover what I feel are the negatives for the movie. And I will then cover what I feel are the positives for the movie and give my final thoughts on the movie overall, including the so-called controversy surrounding it. We have Halle Berry playing Ariel in The Little Mermaid. And in this movie, basically we have a mixture of the old Little Mermaid movie and a new Little Mermaid coming together to make this live action. For one thing, Ariel is fascinated with the human world, just like before she meets Eric and starts to gain feelings for him, while Eric is this adopted prince who is not happy with a castle life of staying inside. He wants to explore the world just like Ariel wants to explore the human world. He wants to explore the world of the sea. And both of them feel constrained by their parents. Ariel by her father, King Triton of the Seven Seas, and Eric by his adopted mother, the Queen. And we have it set that both these different quote-unquote cultures, the humans and the mer people, are enemies who see each other as barbarians, as evil. The humans, because of their superstitions about mermaids using their siren call to lure sailors to their death. And King Triton and his daughters, except for Ariel, his 6 other daughters, seeing humans as evil for the killing of Ariel's mother. Ariel has been exploring all these different shipwrecks that have happened and taking items and hiding them in her cavern to collect them. And she asks with her friend Flounder, the little fish, without her father's knowledge, and always going to the bird Scuttle to learn what these human items are. And obviously Scuttle has really no idea, but is, making up names like Dinglehopper and Who's It's and What's It's. And Ariel gets in trouble with her father for missing the Coral Moon celebration, I think they called it. And Triton basically, basically kind of grounds her in a way, I guess, by saying that she is not to go to the above world ever, and that he doesn't need to understand what she's saying, that what he says goes, that he's the ruler, he decides for her as her father. And Ariel is obviously very upset about this, goes back to her cavern with her items that she has, and we see the very first rendition of the new songs. We see Part of Your World, and wow, very, very good. Like, I was very impressed when I first saw it, and have continued to listen to it. And the more I listen to it, the more impressed by it I am. Then we get how she goes to the surface because she sees fireworks. And she hides on one of the lifeboats attached to the ship, is watching Eric and the crew. She's overhearing Eric with what he's saying about he wants to keep exploring. He doesn't want to stay in the castle, while his, his valet, his protector, Grimsby, is like, no, you need to get back to the castle. You need to separate yourself from the men. You have duties. You can't... You were brought to us by a shipwreck over many years ago. You really want to risk your life for this life on the open sea. And Eric is just like, he's really carefree. He wants to explore. He wants to expand everything for his kingdom. And then a storm hits, what they called a squall, which I'm assuming means that a huge storm. And just like in the original movie, it causes the ship to hit rocks. It's going to sink. They give the order to abandon ship. When Eric sees that Max, his dog, is still stuck on the ship, which is now burning because of the lanterns breaking, he goes over there, saves him, Ariel helps save Max too, but as Eric's about to jump in, he falls, hits his head, gets knocked out. Ariel saves him, brings him to shore, where she does a reprise of her Part of Your World song, which, again, beautiful. And Eric sees her silhouette as he's waking up, but he doesn't see her face, he only hears her voice. And so Sebastian, the major domo of King Triton, has been ordered to watch over Ariel, and when he sees that she's done this, saving this human with her siren song, he tells Scuttle, that who's seen this whole thing too, that they will never mention it to King Triton at all, so he stays alive. But seeing Ariel doing all this stuff through her, I guess, looking glass, water glass, whatever, is Ursula the Sea Witch. She's been watching Ariel this whole time, and she's going to continue watching. We know that Ursula has a lot of tricks up her sleeve and devious plots. Eric, when he awakens, he is determined to find this mystery girl. He's sending out ships. He's desperate to find her, even though he's kind of hurt. And we get his song, Uncharted Waters. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me go back. We have Ariel being confronted by Sebastian about, he finds her cavern. He's telling her that she needs to focus on life under the sea. And he does a good job in this movie as well with that song. I can understand why some people were a little disappointed that they didn't have all the instruments playing. But as an adult, I found it very fun that we got to just see how they went about this song. It was interesting, and how Ariel sang along at certain points, but in the end, at the end, just like in the original, she disappeared before it ended. So that was funny. And Eric, he's also his mother, the queen, forbids him from leaving the castle, basically leaving the island to look for the mystery girl. And that she doesn't want him going out on any more voyages because the sea gods are against them, and that they're evil and will kill them all given the chance. And Eric, he doesn't believe this. He doesn't want to stop exploring. And we have a scene where Ariel and her sisters are, quote unquote, cleaning up the damage done by the shipwreck to their coral reefs. And all the sisters are complaining that the humans know no culture, that they've just destroyed, and they've caused mess. And Ariel is saying, it's trying to defend them. And her father shows up and says that these, as he says, these humans have no regard for balance. And Ariel says to him, they're not the only ones with no regard for balance. And she leaves, swims off. And her sisters start wondering what's wrong with her. And I think one of them, I think the oldest, actually, I think in this moment protects Ariel in a way by changing the subject, saying, oh, I remember what I was like at that age. Remember how I was? And all the other girls start gossiping, like, oh, I wonder who the lucky merman is. And you see King Triton's face as he's like kind of smiling a little and wondering if maybe there is something like that. But we obviously know that's obviously not what's going on. She is so curious about the above world. And so Triton summons Sebastian and kind of interrogates him because he's thinking that there's something about another guy from under the sea in Ariel's life. But Sebastian crumbles under the continued questioning and admits about the above world, to which Triton, I'm guessing Sebastian told him where the cavern was, because he goes there. Confronts Ariel and basically confronts her again with the fact that a human killed her mother, and that they are barbarians. And you should have let this man drown. You should have let Eric drown. And Ariel tries to say it was one man who killed our mother. He didn't. Not all humans did that. And Eric is kind and caring, and you should know him. And Triton's not listening. He's like, promise me you will never try to find him again. You will not look for him again. And Ariel, for the movie's sake, quite well, she says, I can't promise that. I won't. And she says, I don't want to lie to you. And Triton says, I will get through to you. And he does, like in the original, he starts destroying the cavern and telling her, this is for your own good. And unlike in the original, where he seems to be kind of regretting what he did, in this one, it doesn't look like he regrets it at all. And Sebastian and Flounder try to talk to her. She tells them to go away. And that's when Ursula and her seeing glass pops up, only this time she's able to talk with Ariel. And it's played by Melissa McCarthy. She does and she does a great job as Ursula. I really like it. It's like a sassy, older, kind of jaded woman, I guess. And she does a great job with that as the sea witch. But she's very good at convincing Ariel to come and see her about, having a life above the sea. And Ariel goes and sees her, and we get the poor unfortunate souls, but without any of the misogynistic lyrics. Which I hope that if it comes out on Blu-ray, we get an extended version of the original for that one, because I want to see the entire thing by Melissa McCarthy, but I doubt we will, because everybody knows that the villain songs in the new Disney remakes, they get cut down so that they're not so evil. And it's like, come on, that's what makes them so great. We love the evilness. That's why Scar's song in the original Lion King was my favorite. But Ursula convinces Ariel, although Ariel says this is wrong and tries to leave, but Ursula tells him tells her never leave home again, or I believe something like that line, and Ariel agrees in the end. She takes a scale off her tail, forgive how I rhymed that like in the original, and through this pact of blood, she has 3 days to have a kiss of true love with the prince. She will be human, but she will not have her voice at all. And as an added bonus, Ursula adds in a little spell of her own without telling Ariel, which is that if she's reminded about having to kiss the prince, that it will immediately leave her mind. She will not remember that that's what she needs to do within 3 days. So, kind of like the used car salesman in that case, eh? But Sebastian, he's thinking that they get caught up in the net of a fisherman. Sebastian and Ariel, once she gets to the surface. And this fisherman, brings her to the castle to get her some help. And obviously she's not speaking. They all assume she's been through a lot. And they get her cleaned up. They get her dressed. We get a brand new song as well. We get For the First Time. And it's got I really like it. There are 3 new songs, and that one's definitely my favorite. Definitely. And I like it especially because, for the most part, Ariel's voice is the one singing, but we don't see the actress, Halle, singing it until very near the end. It's really just her singing it in her head, and I like that. These humans are helping her get ready. She's admiring the human world throughout this song, and all the new things. Like, for the first time, she's been burnt by fire. For the first time, she's trying to walk on 2 feet. She's seeing the prince as a human for the first time. But then comes the problem, which is that she can't speak. She has no voice. So, without her voice, the prince does not recognize her. He's gracious and he's helping her, but he doesn't remember. He doesn't remember her because she doesn't have her voice. So she's very depressed. She's starting to really, not regret, but starting to have her doubts about the deal she made with Ursula. And then Sebastian comes up and he tries to convince her to go back to the ocean to talk with her father. But when he remembers that she's just going to be miserable, and she really gives him the look of, really, you're going to tell me this now? He he agrees to help her. Like, Sebastian is much more like a friend in this than he is a babysitter. So he and Scuttle, who shows up, are going to try to help her get her kiss with the prince. And at one point, Ariel wakes up. She gets out of her shoes and finds this room that has all of Eric's collectibles. He has a room full of this collection of things: maps, books, coral, rocks, all these different things. And she's admiring these things and looking at them, and Eric comes in and is surprised to find her, but he starts talking with her. He starts showing her all his things, and she starts showing him like how this one fossil has this one thing of coral. She breaks it, and it has some really beautiful, pretty rocks inside of it, and she blows the beach conch or beach shell, showing him all this stuff, and then he starts showing her these maps of South America, including their island. And it's obvious that he's really enjoying this, talking with her. And this whole time, Sebastian's trying to get them to kiss somehow, but Ariel's like throwing him away and keeping him aside, even letting one of the maps roll him up. I don't know why, but that was hilarious. And the prince's valet shows up, Grimsby, and he notices that Eric is really enjoying himself. And so he asks Eric, do we need to send out all of our carriages to look for the mystery girl? Or would you like one to be held back for you tomorrow? And he's basically implying that Eric should go spend the day with Ariel, because he sees that there's a chemistry. And Eric is more than happy to do so. So the next day, they're going for a carriage ride, and Eric gives the reins to Ariel, where they go on this like high-speed run. They almost fall over several times, and then she gets off, and they both she's exploring the main village and seeing all these colors, these clothes, all these new things, hats, these people who are enjoying themselves, just having a good time. And then there's dancing. We have a dingle hopper moment with the fork that's called a dingle hopper. We get to see that moment. I still don't find it funny. I just find it cringy, but that's just me. And then we can see the chemistry between Ariel and Eric growing. And Sebastian, Scuttle, and Flounder work their way to get Ariel and Eric to this lagoon, where we have the Kiss the Girl song going again, and we have Sebastian, Scuttle, and Flounder trying to set the mood, as you would. And it almost comes, they almost kiss, and then the two, I guess, electric eels, I don't forget what they were, but Flotsam and Jetsam they were called, and they knock over the boat that they're in. And Ariel actually teaches Eric her name in a very interesting way, which is, instead of Sebastian giving her name, she uses the star constellation Aries that Eric points out, and she does this to his mouth when he says Ariel, Ariel, Ariel. And that was really cool. I like that. Talk about using your head. And they head back to the castle, where they almost get caught by the queen, but Grimsby covers for them and gives Eric some advice on what he should do about this mystery girl and this new girl who's shown up. I believe his quote was, "Don't worry about what should be. Think about what's right in front of you, the present." And this whole time, Ursula, who had been watching all of this, is livid. She's going nuts, trying to figure out what to do. And so she comes up with a plan. And she does another spell where she comes to the surface as a human with Ariel's voice around her neck, and uses the siren song to lure Eric over. And he's been contemplating choosing between Ariel and the mystery girl, and it seems like he's about to choose Ariel, but then this mystery girl voice, who he's been searching for I don't know how long, and has stolen his heart in a way, and now he's hearing her again. It's the one who saved his life. And he finds her again. And again, I think this siren song has some sort of a magical component to it. Like, it's not an end-all, be-all thing, I think, but it certainly has some power. And we get, the next morning, we get the Scuttlebutt song, which I agree with all these other vocal coaches I've been watching on YouTube, that this song is meant for kids. Yeah. It's a good rap song for kids, but I just like the rhythm and rhyme. I don't really care about the song. That was Scuttle's song now. It's Scuttlebutt. But basically, it turns out that the prince is going to propose, and everyone's wondering who the mystery girl is. And Ariel goes down to find Eric, and she sees that he's with another woman. Obviously, it's Ursula, but disguised as this woman, Vanessa. And because Ursula had been watching Ariel all this time, she has the story down pat. And Ariel is extremely depressed, extremely heartbroken, and disappears for a while. And Sebastian, Scuttle, Flounder, they're all looking for her. And Eric, even though he is still struggling with his choices, he seems to have decided on Vanessa, but he's so indecisive at this moment. And I think, again, it's partly because of the siren song, and it's partly because of this person has saved his life, versus this person he's just met who has not spoken at all, but he finds so fascinating and interesting and compatible. But, again, it's a struggle for the guy, especially because I'm assuming he's not been in love before. He is struggling to choose, although Grimsby obviously thinks he should be with Ariel. And then Scuttle sees Vanessa in her room, but she sees in the mirror that it's Ursula, because Ursula's image in the mirror is the same as it is for real. And so she flies to find Sebastian, Ariel, and Flounder. And we get a small reprise again of Part of Your World, which it was still good, just way more melancholy for me. So Scuttle tells Sebastian, Flounder, and Ariel what's going on, that it was actually Ursula using a trick. And Ariel swims for the castle as fast as she can. Sebastian tells Flounder to go get King Triton and tell him exactly what's happened. And Scuttle takes Sebastian over to the castle, but drops him by mistake. And then Scuttle's attacking Vanessa. Max, the dog, also goes after Vanessa, although he doesn't bite her. He just seems to be kind of pawed her and stuff. I don't get it. I guess he just wanted to play. And then Ariel shows up. And Eric's like, what's going on? Ariel and Ursula are fighting. Ariel grabs the necklace that's holding her voice and smashes it. And her voice returns to her. And she and Eric are about to kiss. Because he realizes she was the mystery girl all along. This is the woman he's fallen for. And the sun sets. And Ursula, whose voice is back, is laughing hysterically, shoving everyone aside with all of her tentacles, and because of the deal that's been made, it can't be broken, and she takes Ariel and goes back into the ocean, where Eric is trying to follow with his mother telling him, they are evil, they will destroy us, come back. But as Ursula tries to take Ariel away, Triton shows up, tries to attack Ursula with his trident, doesn't work because of the blood deal. And Ursula says, I will make a deal with you. What is it worth to get your precious daughter back? And he gives up the Triton, to which Ursula uses her 2 eels to electrocute Triton, and it seems to almost kill him. And Ariel is yelling at Ursula. She's trying to stop her. Ursula's about to kill her when from above comes a spear that grazes Ursula from Eric. And he tries to swim back to grab another spear. Flotsam and Jetsam pull him back down. Ursula's about to kill him with the trident. Ariel knocks her aside, and she accidentally kills her 2 babies, who she cries over. Ursula does. And then she becomes humongous, starts a huge whirlpool and storm, brings up all these shipwrecks, and tries to kill Eric and Ariel. But Ariel gets on top of one of these ships as she's about to strike Eric with the trident, and she steers the ship with the wheel like she'd seen Eric do, and the spike at the top, at the point, it became a giant spear on the nose of the boat or the ship, and it jams and it strikes Ursula, basically sending her back to the bottom of the sea without any power. And Ariel again keeps Eric safe from drowning, and then she takes the trident and saves her father, revives him basically. And they have a moment, but Triton still does not see, even though Ariel says, Eric helped me, we fought together. Triton ignores that and says, only thing that matters is that you're safe and home. And so Eric returns to shore, where his mother and the others are telling him that yes, that Eric wasn't wrong, they were wrong, but that there's nothing they can do. Their worlds were not meant to be together. And Eric seems to finally accept this, however reluctantly. Then we see Triton talking to Sebastian again, where he's asking him, have I done everything I could to make her happy? And Sebastian says, well, not yet. And we find Ariel is on those same rocks where she's been having her Part of Your World songs, just watching the castle. And Triton decides to help her, even though he's going to really miss her. And next we see Eric playing fetch with Max, and when Max doesn't come back with a stick at one point, he looks up and there's Ariel. And they have their kiss. There's this huge celebration going on about their engagement as they're going on a trip on another voyage together. Ariel thanks Sebastian and Scuttle and Flounder. And we see Triton has come to the surface as well with a lot of the other mer people, and saying that they will try their best to unite these worlds together. And that's where the movie ends. I'm going to say this. I'm going to start by saying this. I think the movie was good for a live-action Disney movie. I think they did a good job combining the old with the new. Now, to get into the negatives first. I'm going to need some water for this. First thing. This was... Triton and Ursula are apparently siblings. Ursula is apparently Triton's sister, the aunt of Ariel, who apparently was banished for dabbling in black magic, and that she is jealous of her brother, and she wants his power, and she wants revenge on him because he was the spoiled child, whatever. I don't know how I feel about her being his sister. That's like a minor thing, really. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Except for the revenge part. We have... my problem with Ursula's character in this case was that, yes, she showed that she was very savvy about being a wheeler and dealer, about being sleazy, and about what she was after, and how she was going to get it. And I liked how Melissa McCarthy played character, but she didn't feel as evil or as convincing a villain as she did in the original. Like, in this case, she just didn't scare me. Now, maybe it's because I've grown up, but she didn't feel evil to me in the same way. She didn't feel scary. Then we have Triton, who... oh my god, his story, like, he had no emotions on his face. That, to me, was a very bad struggle. Like, he did... The guy that played him was portraying him as this stoic king with a temper underneath, but kept it under control, but was firm, I guess. But this was not how I think a father would act when they have this much fear and hatred towards another people, especially a people that seemingly killed his wife. And he's trying to protect his people, yes. But how he's reacting to Ariel just didn't quite feel right. Like he's just being stubborn rather than him being a caring father. Like he's not showing a lot of emotion at all, which I think hurt the character. And we have Ariel's sisters. They did not play a big role in the original either, but I was hoping, because one of my friends told me when she saw it that they played a bigger role in this case. They had more distinct personalities. Turns out she just meant that they looked a lot more different to each other so that you could tell them apart, which not a bad thing, but I wanted to see more like, okay, one of the sisters or two of the sisters kind of understand what Ariel is going through. The others only see their father's point of view. I wanted something more nuanced, but that didn't happen. All we got was them kind of defending their father and going against humans and, treating her like a younger sister that she doesn't know any better, rather than them picking a side. Then we have how quick the battle between Ursula, Eric, and Ariel was, which, to me, that was just, it felt lame. Like, it didn't feel convincing. It just felt so quick, like there was no build-up for the fight. There was just this sudden boom, boom, that's it. And so that's where I struggled. And then, most importantly, at the end, how quickly the Triton and the human queen were willing to try and bring these people together. Now, I understand they're royalty, they can do what they want. But that there was absolutely no time in between, or at least it feels that way, that they're trying to bring these two worlds together. And that at first, that in this very first instance, this very first contact between multiples of both sides, there's nothing going on except that they've accepted it. I do not buy that anymore. Maybe I'm cynical, maybe I'm jaded, maybe I'm just a pessimist. But that did not feel real, even for a Disney movie. So, that's where my negatives are for the movie. Now, for the much better part, the positives. The music, oh my God. Oh my freaking God. That was amazing. I loved Part of Your World, Under the Sea. The reprises. And For the First Time. Poor Unfortunate Souls, Melissa McCarthy did a good job with it, but the fact that they cut out so much of it, damn, I knew they were going to, but I still regret it. It was like, we need the villain songs to be original. They're the best. They were the best songs in the originals. Cutting them out is not good. I mean, they kept the mob song from the original Beauty and the Beast, and I think they improved on it, actually, in the new one. Why couldn't they keep the other, for The Lion King and The Little Mermaid? Those were the best songs. They were the ones that drew the most attention. We love the evil stuff because it's so much more fascinating than Heroes. But I get it. It's Disney. And in today's world, we are trying to cut back on how evil people are. Which, we all know that there's going to be some evil. That's why we watch Disney. We want to see the evil lose because of how evil they are. So when you make them less evil, their downfall isn't as satisfying. Now, I think they did a good job in the new Lion King for that, and they did a good job with Gaston and his evil stuff. But with this one, it just felt not as good. It didn't feel like the villain was, it didn't feel satisfying. But again, the music, other than, cutting out lots of the villain song and Scuttlebutt, I love the music. Uncharted Waters, that was great. For the First Time, that's probably my favorite one. I know it's brand new, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I loved Halle singing. Absolutely. I mean, oh my God. I have watched it from vocal coaches reviewing it over and over again, which I'm going to get into why they were doing that, but I loved how they described how she's doing this with her voice, and they're hitting these notes, and they're putting this passion or this pulling back and all these things. It was fantastic. I loved the songs. They were very good. And for me, as a young man in today's world, well, not so young anymore, but as a guy who grew up seeing the Little Mermaid originals, this one felt way more passionate, way more uplifting and dramatic than the original Little Mermaid songs, which were good. Don't get me wrong. Very good singing. Just not my style that I want to hear. I want to hear the passion. I want to hear the dramatics. And I want to hear the emotions. The original was more melancholy, more soft, more down in tone. Oh, well, just ignore that in the back. Yeah, we'll just ignore that for a minute. Oh my God, I am so sorry. That is my little nephew and roommates and sister. But, yeah. We'll just wait on them. But, let me think. What else was good? I loved how you had Ariel. I loved how you had Ariel and Eric both feeling confined and wanting to explore the world around them. You had Ariel so fascinated by the human world that she comes to the surface against her father's wishes and orders, and then she meets Eric. And she is fascinated by the human world and by seeing this human who is showing that he wants a new world. He wants to see more of it. That he doesn't want to stay in just the human world. He wants to see the ocean. He wants to see the rest of these uncharted waters. And she also sees his compassion and his innocence when he saves Max's life. And we see Ariel also help with that, which was so... Everybody claps at that. But we see that they're both fascinated by their opposite worlds, and they want to learn more about them, and they want to do something about it. It's not about bringing their worlds together for them. It's about exploring them. It's about learning. I like how they did that for the movie, rather than Ariel just being this girl who is kind of interested in the human world, but it's when she meets this prince that she just falls so deeply that she can't stop thinking about him. So I think that was an improvement from the 1980s movie to the 2022 movie. So that's what I do like, that story plot is part of it. And I loved how they showed that their shared interest brought them together in that room where they're both so fascinated with these other worlds that he just talks her ears off like a lot of us would about something we love. And she's listening this whole time, and he knows she's listening. And how we have this, instead of it being this European-centric sea voyaging thing, we have it in the Caribbean, South American areas, which we see the different dancing, the different foods, the different attitudes, and all this stuff, the colors. The colors were great. So we see that... in my opinion, it's basically a change of venue for the movie into a different sector of the world. So it was really interesting, and I liked that. And it really felt like we were in a real place rather than a fantasy. It felt real, at least. So that is where I think the movie did well. The story was good. They improved on the story as far as the main one. Ariel and Eric were well played. I love the singing, especially by Halle Berry. Like, absolutely, oh my God. It felt so real. And I'm glad the movie itself did well, especially after the first few airings. Like, I am very glad that it came out in theaters. I'm glad I went and I saw it. And I'm glad it's on Disney Plus again, so I can watch it. Like, this is a remake I will rewatch when I want to. And I hope I can show it to my nephew my nephews and nieces once they're a little older and can understand it a little better. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about this so-called controversy about the movie. When the first trailer came out and everybody saw that the Little Mermaid was played by Halle Berry, who is black, a lot of people lost their shit over that one little thing, that the Little Mermaid was going to be played by a black actress. Who fucking cares? Halle Berry killed the role. You should have waited to see Halle Berry playing the role, but all they cared about in that moment was getting clicks and defending the old movie. And it's like, do you really think Disney's going to remake The Little Mermaid exactly the same as it was? That's not how movies work, especially remakes. And it's not about casting somebody who looks exactly like the old actress or the old character who was animated. An animated mermaid. It's about picking the actress that does the best job in the auditions. And I am so glad they picked Halle Berry because her singing and her acting was fantastic. She nailed the role in a new way. So, to the people who were so quick to make a judgment call based off of only the actress and what she looked like, screw you. You should have waited for the movie to come out and judged it based off of the performance. Not this. I'm sick and tired of hearing about that kind of stuff. It's just ridiculous and boring. So, I hope that controversy dies out. I think that this remake of a classic Disney movie, I think they did a good job. Is it my favorite? I don't think so. Just because I am a little too old for the old style Disney in that sense. Like, I still love them, I still like them, I still want to watch them, but I'm a little too old to believe in that stuff. But they did a great job in a new era with new people. And I commend them for picking Halle Berry because she is absolutely fantastic at playing Ariel. That was the most important character and she nailed it. So I give the film a B+ in my book. Again, it has its weaknesses in my opinion, but overall I think they did a good job. So I do hope that they do the second movie, which is The Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea. I hope we have another similar story going on where we see Ariel, Eric, and her daughter. I hope we see a good storyline as well as great songs. So that's my review of The Little Mermaid 2022 remake. So take care, my wolf pack, and catch you later.